Nice aim, Deadshot.
I don't mind Keepaway characters, but NetherRealm has a habit of making them way too strong, which is why Injustice 2 Grand Finals looked like this. Deadshot versus Deadshot over and over again. And to make matters worse, this character was extremely boring to watch, which likely killed the hype for Injustice 2 way too fast. The sad fact is, making Deadshot this good was a mistake. In fact, it might be NetherRealm's biggest mistake, and allow me to explain why after a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Dashfight, and their channel is filled to the brim with fighting game content, including character guides from pro players. Because if you want to learn your favorite character properly, then it's gotta be from one of the best players in the world. They also have some really fun top 10 videos, interviews with pro players, and post-match analysis on tournament gameplay, which I think might be my favorite part of their channel. Or maybe you just want to watch some high-level gameplay, they got that too for your favorite fighting games. The main goal of Dashfight is to promote fighting games and empower the community, which I support wholeheartedly. The FGC has done so much for me and my channel, so I love seeing it grow in any way possible. And that's why I recommend Dashfight. You can find their link in my pinned comment and video description down below. Make sure to check them out today, you won't regret it. They have amazing fighting game content for every type of viewer, so check out Dashfight today. So first up, let's talk about Wrist Cannon. It's a very basic projectile, but also very annoying, because as you can see, it recovers very quickly. Spamming this move is super easy. And when the game first released, it recovered just as fast on whiff, and as a result, a lot of characters couldn't even dash in between the gunshots. They had to walk forward, duck, walk forward, duck, and that's all they could do. And even once you did have meter, your options weren't that great. Yeah, you could go for a meter burn roll, but you don't recover right away, whereas Wrist Cannon recovers very quickly. So even if you did meter burn roll on Deadshot, he could recover in time to attack you or even punish you. And going for an armored attack wasn't much better, because Deadshot could just meter burn, and look at that, he fires several shots, which would beat your armor every single time. So once again, even if you had meter, it wasn't that great. Armored attacks would lose straight up, and you could not meter burn roll on reaction. If you did, he could either block in time or punish you in a worst case scenario. And then to top it all off, this move also built a crazy amount of meter when the game first came out. In fact, even now it's building a decent amount of meter, so not only are you playing Keepaway, you're building good meter in the process. Once again, Wrist Cannon might be basic, but it's very, very annoying, and when the game first came out, it was even better. And even after the nerfs, Deadshot players still had access to Trick Shot. This move hits mid and you can't duck under it. It also has a far version which hits full screen and a close version which can catch you jumping. If you were fighting Deadshot and wanted to dash forward underneath his Wrist Cannon, he could just do this and either catch you dashing or at the very least force you to block. And then if he meter burned, there was a lot of pushback. Combine that with trait, he could also get a knockdown and now you're full screen. And you might be thinking, well, I'll just jump over it. Guess what? That's not an option, because if he meter burns in front of you, he creates a wall of bullets that you can't jump through. And then for whatever reason, it can also extend combos in the corner as well. I have no idea why, but here we are. As you can see, Trick Shot is also an amazing move. It does not recover as fast as Wrist Cannon, but it hits mid and is equally annoying to deal with. And next up, we have to talk about Deadly Assault. This move is a bit slower than the others, but it also hits low for a decent mix-up. You see this string right here? Normally it's a low overhead, but guess what? Now it's low. At the casual level especially, that was very annoying to deal with. However, it's the meter burn that makes this move so godlike. Look at all that pushback on hit. It's a Keepaway player's wet dream. Keep in mind, Combo Breaker did not work on this move when the game first released, so once you landed one bullet, every other bullet was guaranteed. Look at all that pushback, the opponent's almost full screen already. In fact, even today, the Combo Breaker does not work on most of Deadshot's bullets. Not this one, not that one, not this one, only Deadly Assault. But once again, when the game first came out, you couldn't even combo break this special move either. It was really good. In fact, the meter burn was also great for jumpers because they would fall on the remaining bullets. And then on top of all of that, this move is also completely safe at -5, which means even if the opponent was right in your face for the very last bullet, they can't punish you anyway. But on top of that, look at all the amazing pushback and the chip damage. Look at this thing go. As you can see, Deadshot is quite a good Keepaway character, but even if you did get close to him, he was arguably just as deadly, if not more deadly up close. First off, let's talk about Death Wish. The initial hit is a low attack, then the second hit is an overhead, online, line at a casual level, that was very tough to block for most players. And once Deadshot hit you, he got a full combo and was almost full screen away as well. But don't worry, it gets much worse because even at the tournament level, this string was almost impossible to block. Why? Because the first hit was only -1 on block. So if you're expecting low overhead, guess what? Now it's low, and the timing was almost identical. And as a result, even at the tournament level, Deadshot had mix-ups for days, and it was very annoying. Once you learn the timing for low overhead, he could just do low, and once again, it's only -1, so reacting was impossible. You had to make a guess, and if you guessed wrong, you would get caught for a full combo. And then finally, even if you blocked the whole thing, he could just special cancel and keep himself safe every time. After an update, eventually, this was no longer possible. You could jump over the final shot, or you could armor through it, but that was not the case when the game first came out. Even if you blocked this super annoying mix-up, it didn't matter because Deadshot could keep himself safe every single time. And I almost forgot, the first hit is +18, which means he can just go for it again. So on block or on hit, he can just keep reinforcing this mix-up. Overhead low, low overhead, what's gonna happen? And then for no reason, NetherRealm also gave Deadshot an overhead. So if this 50-50 wasn't enough for you, he also has a regular 50-50, an overhead into a mid that can be special canceled for a full combo. I honestly have no idea why NetherRealm gave a Keepaway character a 50-50 to begin with, but here we are. There's an overhead mid, then there's a low overhead or a low overhead. All that stuff. A nightmare on block. It was very tough to deal with even for pro players. And even if you did block this thing, Deadshot had ways to keep himself safe. He could do a flying knee and then meter burn, or if your reactions were a bit slower, he could just do deadly assassin and then meter burn. Once again, Deadshot is very dangerous up close. Even if you knocked him down, he had the assassin's knee. This thing was fully invincible on startup, which is already crazy for a Keepaway character to have. Because even if you spend tons of meter getting in and close the distance and knock him down, it's still not your turn. He can fly in from downtown with the knee of doom. And that's bad enough already, but guess what? He can also meter burn it to keep himself safe. And it's an overhead, which would catch casual players all the time. They would duck on wake up and then just get caught by this move. Once again, giving an invincible wake up to a Keepaway character is already bonkers, but the option to keep it safe is ridiculous. And on top of that, you can also delay the meter burn to catch the opponent trying to attack too soon. So not only is the meter burn safe, but it's also a mind game as well. You can catch the opponent trying to press buttons. And did I forget to mention this move can also extend combos in the corner? Because it can. Once again, I'm not sure why, but it's also a great combo extender on top of being great as a wake up. As you can see, if the opponent knocked down Deadshot and was anywhere near him, he could just wake up with the flying knee and see if it was blocked. If they did block it, he could just meter burn and keep himself safe. But if it landed, he could save the meter for later. And now finally, we have to talk about his trait. Just like everything else in this video, it was even better when the game first came out. First up, we have incendiary ammo, which does damage over time. Look at that health bar just melt away. Bang, bang, bang. After about 3 special moves, the opponent's already a third dead. And then we have explosive ammo, my personal favorite because it knocks down every time and does more damage and has increased pushback. Fire it a couple of times and the opponent's already at full screen. Once again, this version is my personal favorite. The only downside is sometimes the follow-ups will whiff if you don't space them correctly due to all the pushback. And then finally, we have poison ammo, which drains the opponent's meter. At tournaments, this could be very good in certain matchups because some characters need meter to extend combos. And keep in mind that Deadshot built meter like crazy when the game first came out, so not only is he denying your meter, but he's building meter like a madman. And also don't forget, Deadshot can switch between these on the fly, making this trait very versatile. He never had to commit to just one of these buffs. And because this trait activates fairly quickly, it was very easy to do at the end of a combo. Just do wrist cannon and then pop the trait and now you're good to go. I'm not kidding when I tell you this trait made Deadshot one of the best characters in the game. He was already really good, but combined with the trait, he was an absolute monster. Hopefully by now you understand why Deadshot was so popular at tournaments. The guy was deadly at every distance. He was arguably the best Keepaway character in the entire game. He has a bunch of special moves with a flurry of bullets and he built meter like an absolute madman. And then even if you did get in, he had mix-ups for days. Low overheads, overhead mids, all that nonsense led to full combos. Then he would pop trait and drain your health bar even faster. And if you ever were lucky enough to knock him down, he had one of the best wake-ups in the game as well. Completely safe on block with the mix-up, and he can delay it for a bit of a mind game. This guy is ridiculous. And once you understand that, it's no mystery why every single tournament was filled with Deadshot players, especially in the top 8. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that Grand Finals was often Deadshot versus Deadshot. Even a player like Biohazard, who was famous for his Bane gameplay, would switch when he had to fight Deadshot. He would pick Harley Quinn or use Deadshot himself, because that's how good this guy was. Pretty much every player had a pocket Deadshot or a character that could deal with Deadshot, because he was just that good. And as a result, you saw him everywhere, but unfortunately, he's just not that fun to watch, and I really do think he killed the hype for Injustice 2 early on, which is a real shame, and it's why I would argue he's the biggest mistake the NetherRealm has ever made. Because Injustice 2 is a wonderful game with wonderful characters, but you almost never got to see them for the first few months because it was Deadshot, 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 and he just wasn't that fun to watch. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and while you're down there, make sure to leave a like. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell. That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.